Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to the Axelerant Live webinar. I'm Trupti Bhosale, your host and the Technical Workforce Manager for QA at Axelerant. So in today's webinar, our guest is Viswa Teji. I'll call her Viswa. So Viswa has been a part of Axelerant since 2022 and has contributed to multiple projects as a QA analyst. So in today's webinar, Viswa is going to show us some cool features that she has been working on her Salesforce project. And if you have any questions regarding this or regarding the Salesforce or the new features that she is going to demo us, please feel free to drop the questions on the chat box. So I'm more excited about the Salesforce features that Viswa is going to demo us. So without any further ado, let's have Viswa on the stage.
Hi, Trupti.
Hi, Viswa. So Viswa, before we start your presentation, I just have a few questions because this topic is very new and we have not really worked more on this topic. So what is Salesforce and what is it used for? I mean, what is the target audience for this?
So Salesforce basically is like a small toolbox that you have for your own business, to run your own business. Basically, business includes every department that you have within, like marketing, sales, support, and your customer data that you have within. So all these things can be placed in one place, that is our Salesforce. And this is also a cloud-based application. So from anywhere we can operate it. And they also call it a CRM, which is Customer Relationship Management Tool, that it itself explains. It is used for the customer management.
So in today's demo, what are we going to, what are you going to show? Like the challenges part and the new cool features that you have implemented. Is that right?
Everything actually. How we came up with the challenges, what we have implemented for the client, how we got a buy from them that these challenges need to work upon. And what the outcome of it, and how does it looks in the Salesforce? A small demo on it.
Okay. I'm very curious to this demo. But people, if you have any questions, I already see many questions been dropped on the chat box. But if you have any questions while Viswa is going to demo, please put the questions on the chat box. And Viswa, please add on to your presentation. We are excited to see it.
Thank you. Here goes my presentation. It was basically a migration from Classic to Lightning, the main challenge. Here is a code we have added where only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. Yeah, that is very apt for our project, which we have done on the Salesforce, because a lot of things, the client has come up with us the pain points related to business, not for the application. Since they have been using Salesforce application for a long time, they came up with the pain points that they have on the business, not from the application point of view. So we dived into their application and we came up with the problem statements that they agreed upon. So there is too much that we went into, and then we got to know what challenges they are facing on. So we'll be seeing all this. So quickly, if I move on to challenges, these are the three main challenges that we have worked with our client. First is migrations from Classic to Lightning. Again, I'm using big terms, I know, but I'll come back to it. The second is amending and renewal opportunities, and then the Jira integrations. Now, what is, first point I mentioned, the migrations from Classic to Lightning. What is Classic? What is Lightning? What we can refer to? Yeah. It was basically like two different versions for the Salesforce. Classic is a basic version that they have started with. The Salesforce has started with, and then upgraded it to a Lightning version. So lot of things that were coming up recently were part of Lightning. They were no more part of Classic. Just like our migrations that we have done for Drupal 8 to 10. Similarly, from Classic to Lightning. Yeah, and the second thing was I was talking about amending and renewing opportunities. So what are these? This looks like a big terms for us. Even I felt the same when I heard about it for the first time. So amending is first basically what are opportunities? Again, I'm taking an example of a client, a product-based client here. So a product-based client, he has products of his own. So he was selling those products to his customers. So when he's selling, he has potential customers and he has customers who already bought them. So the potential customers in Salesforce, we call them lead, whereas the selling point, like where we already confirmed that the customer is going to buy our products, we call them opportunities. So opportunities then gets quoted. Quoted is nothing but once we get to the customer, and if we talk to them further, our sales team go and talk to them further, and they get to know what products the customer is willing to buy from us. So the products we add and what kind of products he was opting for, and how many products he was opting for, all these details will go into quoting, and we will send them for our customer approval. So once this is done and the contract is signed between us and the customer, if our client has an advantage that they were providing an opportunity for the customer to change the current contract, like change the current products they were using, they signed up for. Like if they want to sign up for different products in the current contract itself, they are providing that opportunity. So that changing, they are capturing it as a amendment. Changing is called as here amendment. So amendment opportunities, they are capturing it into. And then if the contract is ending for the customer they are working with, and the customer is willing to extend the contract further, so this part is renewing. So renewing opportunities also we are capturing within the Salesforce. So these are the terms I want to explain further. And then the Jira integrations I was saying. So what is Jira integrations? Yeah, you heard it. It's it's the tool management that we do every day-to-day life. We use Jira. So it's like Salesforce to Jira, the data transitions. They used to do it manually, but now it became a challenge for them. So I would, let's see how it became. It was a challenge for each of these three. Like first one, when I'm saying handling articles, basically it was like, if I say my client has a support team who works with the customers daily when they have issues with, similar to, let's say we have e-commerce sites where we raise concerns with customer support, right? Similarly, when the customer support receives the issues, they feed it somewhere. So that feeding in Salesforce is done through cases. So these cases were handled by support team. And these cases were usually in the Classic for them, for our client. So every time the support team wants to work on a case, they need to go back to the Classic version of Salesforce and work on the case. So it became a little hectic for them. The next, let's move on to the solutions we have provided. So for these cases, for the support team, in order to stay updated with the newest version of Salesforce that is our Lightning version, we have migrated everything from Classic to Lightning for them. After migrating, we also made sure that every case they have worked upon, if they felt like this so-and-so case can be converted into a case study, similar to our case study, where we when we worked on a project where it was very hard for us, when we are handling it, we felt this can be something that we can read in future, and we convert into a case study. Similarly, here also they can convert into a case study when they worked on an issue which can occur multiple times. So these case studies they call as articles here. So all these articles were stored in the form of knowledge base. It was knowledge base, something is like similar to our databases where we store all our data within. Here it is called as knowledge base. Yeah. So this knowledge base is also present on the Classic side, not on the Lightning. So we also migrated it from Classic to Lightning. And earlier I was mentioning about amending opportunities, renewing opportunities, right? So all these things were used to be done manually by our client, but we have introduced them to something called CPQ feature, which automatically does all these things by few clicks. How is that? I'll show you in demo. Yeah, you're seeing a lot on my screen, right? Yeah, don't worry. Even when I saw it for the first time, I felt the same. It was a Salesforce application. So I was telling you that potential customers are called as leads, right? So that leads look like this. It was basically like a tables within our database. Similarly, here we have objects. We call them objects. We store them in the form of objects. So these leads are potential customers. Once we are sure that he is going to convert into a customer, we convert them into accounts and opportunities respectively. So once the opportunities were created, the sales team will work with a customer and get to know their details and feed all these details into our opportunity directly. And then once they are sure about the products that the customer is going to buy, they create a new code using the new code button. So here directly, they will add the products, all the products that the customer wants, along with the number of quantities they want and how much term they want to subscribe to. Again, here you can relate to the subscription, like when we stream to some video streaming platforms like Netflix, Prime, Hotstar. So you do in a way, like you select for 6 months, 3 months, 12 months based on your need. So similarly, here also we can, based on our customer need, we can do this. We can do the subscription. So once it is done and it is saved, we can send it into the form of document to our customer for accepting it. The document, we don't need to go into a different tool and document it. We can simply do by clicking download the document and send it out to our customer. That document looks something like this. It's taking some time. In the meantime, let's talk more about what happens next. So once this document is sent to the customer, he approves it. We will close the opportunity as saying we won it. We the opportunity, we won it, we say and close it. And then contract it out similar to our SOWs that we send to our customers, clients to sign it out. Similarly, here we send contracts. Yeah, it's taking some time. So let's just quickly go back. Anyway, that document will, something looks like, it will show up a table where all the product details will come up under the total amount we are quoting to the client. And also, it will give you a space for the customer to sign and send us. Yeah, that's how it looks, that template. Yeah, once it is contracted, the contract, as I mentioned, it will automatically create. So when contract is in place and it's currently running for our customer, if the customer comes back and says he wants to make some changes, as I mentioned earlier, amending, then they can do simply by just clicking this button. It will automatically create the amend opportunity with all the necessary details feeding into amended opportunity from the original opportunity that we had. Similarly, the rest of the use case is same, like quoting and sending it out for the customer approval and contracting it out. Similar for the renewal as well. Just on checking few check boxes here, that is renewal forecast and the renewal quoted, it will automatically create the renewal opportunity with all the necessary details from opportunity getting saved into renewal opportunity. Here also, there is an advantage here that the quote will include all the products automatically from the original quote and the amended quotes. We don't need to do it again in the renewal quote. It will be done automatically. So what is changing here, right? You see everything is doing automatically. What we have done for our customer. You might feel it, yes. Actually, this all renewal opportunity creations and these amendment opportunities, all these creations were done manually by them. There is a special team for the client. So they used to do it manually. So all this manual effort has been reduced now and it was doing automatically now. What is the outcome of all of it? Firstly, the cases. So now the support team no need to migrate into, switch back into Classic. They can work on the Lightning itself and they can leverage all the advantages of Lightning. And you might ask, what is changing for me if I'm just, switching is the only problem? There is this visual experience that will change from Classic to Lightning. The visually, a lot will change. It will be, visual pleasing will be there when the Lightning. That's the first thing. And the next, we have given them advantage, a little customization where they can create the knowledge base article directly from the cases. just when they are working on the case itself. Like let's see, there is a new case that the team is working on, support team is working on, and they felt it was something new they are working on, and it can be converted into a case study for future. They can do it within the case itself. We have given them a button where they can create directly. And as I mentioned, CPQ, where we are configuring everything, like the products they need, and we are pricing everything, like we are adding the prices, discounts that we want to apply for a specific customer, depending on the customer that we have. And we are quoting directly to the customer. We don't need to create new documents. So this reduced a lot of manual work and effort from the team. And finally, Jira integration. I was talking less about Jira integration because we are all aware of the Jira, how it works. But the thing here is, in Salesforce, when their support team is working on the cases, again, what are cases? Those are issues. When they are working on the issues, which they were not able to fix them, they want IT support. Obviously, they need one of our developers' help to fix it, or one of our QA to look at it. So when they need IT help, they were asking the IT team to come into Salesforce and look at it. But it is always a tedious thing because the IT team comes into Salesforce, checks it, and go back to their Jira where they operate from and create tickets in Jira. So it's a tedious thing for both support team and developer team to keep track of changes, current situation of the case, status of this case. So that's why we have made an integration using our automation scripts, so that every time the IT team, the support team needs help of IT team, they can just simply click a button on the Salesforce and fill a form and send it out. It will automatically create a ticket in our Jira. And then IT team can operate from Jira itself. They no need to come into Salesforce. This is the biggest time saving for them. And the updates were also bidirectional. Like everything that was updated on the Jira will flow into Salesforce. Not everything, like whatever the data they need. And the data that they need as a support from Salesforce, it will also migrated to, it was also integrated into Jira. So this is the outcome that they had. I'm done with my presentation. Now let's have Trupti back.
Thank you, Viswa, for this great presentation. So what I understand is the team and you have migrated from one Salesforce version to another, have introduced some good features like CPQ so that, all manual efforts are now automated, and then the Jira integration. It must have been very challenging and interesting as well for you to QA such cool features, but yet complex features, right?
CPQ is the biggest challenge for me, personally. Because it might look simple to us, just everything is automated. But when we're adding products, the way the pricing gets calculated and the way we are discounting the customer, all these are little challenging because we need to know the use cases of the client.
So there's a question by Ritesh, and they're asking, how is Salesforce Lightning better than Salesforce Classic?
There is a lot of visual experience that is changing. And also the performance. The performance of Lightning is way more faster than the Classic. And the third point, as I said earlier, the new components that they're introducing, all these insights. Within Salesforce, we get insights. Like based on the customer products that they're buying from us, we can get insights from Salesforce itself. It's like we ask, it gives us. So all these cool components has been introduced in the Lightning. It was not part of Classic before.
I hope, Ritesh, that answers your question, and do get in touch with Viswa if you want to see more about the difference. And we have an interesting question by Abhishek. I think you have answered this, but would you like to answer this one more time? So what were the core reason for migration of the Salesforce from Classic to Lightning, and what challenges did it solve?
Yeah, as I mentioned, it was more of like a support team need to switch back to Classic, where other teams in the organization are using Lightning. So every time they want to raise a case, they'll go back to Classic and create a case. And if they want to refer to an article, they need to switch back to Classic and search for that article. So we have migrated into Lightning. Now they can leverage the visuals actually.
Okay, so there is no switching back, as you mentioned, for cases from a Lightning to Classic and everything. So everything is on one.
Yes, and also visually it became pleasing to them.
So there is one more question. Again, it is about the feature. So Abhishek is asking, what is CPQ and why is CPQ used?
As a
I know you have addressed this, but we'd like to know more about it.
right, sure. Like CPQ is a configure price code. The name itself, the derivation itself. So like configuring, pricing, quoting, like everything can be done by using this. As I showed, like we can configure, like we can add products and the amount of discount you want to give and the pricing that is applied on it. And then you can send out the code directly to the customer without you go and manually create a document. There are already templates within the system which you can use.
Abhishek, I hope that answers your question, but do get in touch with Viswa if there is more, if you require more clarity. I am surely going to reach out to Viswa because these all new features are very exciting and I want to in real time see this. So audience, if there are any questions, please put them on the chat, or if you want, you can reach out to Viswa later. I think this is it. We don't have much questions from the audience, Viswa. Okay, there is a question by Kalai. So Kalai is asking, can you customize the templates available?
Yes.
I think they are talking about the contract thing which you mentioned.
We can
So
actually.
Kalai, yes, we can customize the templates that are available.
And we have done it as well for our client.
Okay, so and so Ajay is asking, how long did it take to complete the project? Interesting question.
Yeah, it took us quite some time. I actually didn't remember the numbers, but I'll get back to you.
Okay, cool. So any more questions from the audience? Okay, no. Abhishek says that the insights were helpful, and Ritesh is also thanked you, Vishwa. So there are no more questions. The audience, if you have any questions later on, please feel free to reach out to Vishwa. And thank you for joining today's webinar, and we'll be soon back with one interesting topic in our next webinar. Till then, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.